But we're set to go, and the Packers have won the toss and will receive. And Pete Stoyanovich has it teed up for the Miami Dolphins in front of their hometown fans, hoping they can bring their coach, Don Shula, win number 300. Charles Wilson and Vi Sikahema back deep for the Packers. It'll be Charles Wilson at the 3-yard line. Wilson got it across the 20 and out to the 25-yard line. Paul Langford just reactivated by Miami and on the stop on the special teams. So Don Majkowski will bring out the Packer offense. Majkowski has struggled a bit, but had a good final 4 minutes last week to get Green Bay a victory over Tampa Bay. Joining him offensively, Scott Jones in for Rutgers, as Dan mentioned. Morant, Campen, Hallstrom, and Tony Mandrich. Ed West is the tight end. Keith Woodside and Alan Rice in the Packer backfield, and Perry Kemp and Sterling Sharp are the wide receivers. Majkowski has a look as Green Bay starts at its own 25-yard line. And it is Alan Rice. And the Miami defense stretches it out and drops him for no gain. Miami defensively. Let's have a look at their front wall. Oglesby, Sauché in for Sean Lee, who's on injured reserve after injuring a knee last week, and Jeff Cross, the other defensive end. The linebacking core is a good one. Griggs and Cox, a couple of young guys outside. Reichenbach and Offord, all the veterans inside. Michael Magruder and Vesti Jackson on the corners. Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams are the safeties. Alan Rice got one. It's 2nd down and 9 for the Packers. From their own 26-yard line. Under a blitz, Majkowski got away. And got it complete to Woodside for a first down. A nice spin, and he's all the way out near the 47 with a penalty marker down.
We have a gain of 20.
Bob McElwee, our referee.
Yeah, Majkowski was over the line of scrimmage, or he had one of his offensive linemen cross that line of scrimmage and get downfield.
Ineligible downfield, number 63, 10 yards.
Now we'll take a look at it. It's James Camp in the center, and really this is just a hustle play on his part. He's right in the middle of our screen here, of course, working against Sauché. But look at the job Majkowski does, stepping up into the pocket away from Brian Cox on the sack. And now there goes Campen just a little bit downfield, and he's trying to get back. That's a real close call.
That's what happens when a play takes that long to develop, and those are the kind of plays that have been happening with regularity to the Green Bay offense. Every time something seems to go right in the first 3 weeks, turns around and goes bad on them. There's Majkowski's numbers through 3 games. So instead of a first down, 2nd down and 19. Majkowski again, heavy pressure, and down he goes as he got rid of the ball at the very last instant.
Now, this is real close to 1 being a sack and 2 being intentional grounding. But the nice movement there, that is might be reviewed, because that looked like his right knee was down before he got rid of the ball. And number 3, that could have been ruled a fumble as well.
Majkowski lost his footing, and we're going to see more and more of that, I think, early in this game at least.
Well, watch his right knee, Brad, and I believe that he is down before he lets that ball go. And they are reviewing it upstairs. We have a stoppage, and I believe they'll take this one back to where that knee touched down. Not your best start for Majkowski and the Packers again this year.
And it's happened the first 3 weeks of the season. As we said, had it not been for the final 4 minutes against Tampa Bay last week when they put 10 points on the board, they might be 0-3 coming into this one.
But they did, and that's the important thing. Well, they're going to let the play stand. That's amazing how they can make that call after it was clear Majkowski still had the ball in his hand when his knee touched down.
They did rule that his knee was down, so it's 3rd and 23, way back at the 12-yard line from the gun. Majkowski with 4 wideouts near his own goal line. And flags down again. We might have another holding call, as again the pass complete to Wilson. And another penalty marker goes down as Wilson's hit at the 32-yard line. Flag football in the first couple of minutes at Joe Robbie Stadium.
We may have offsetting penalties. Definitely holding against the Packers, and then a late flag after the completion to Charles Wilson.
Scott Jones may be the guilty party.
Fouls on the offense. Illegal use of the hands. Hands to the face, number 71. Illegal block in the back, number 85. The illegal use to the hands, number 71.
Here's number 71, Scott Jones. Watch his hands go to the face of Jeff Cross here. At some point, they're just going to call that holding as he just ran him around the backside of Mikowski. And then right there is the clip by Jeff Query. And the Packers are off to a terrible start.
So it's a double whammy on Green Bay. Both penalties go against the Packers.
And the Dolphins are going to accept one of them and bring up a third down and about from here to Lauderdale for a first down. 29 yards they got to go.
Back at the 5-yard line. And remember, the first Packer penalty occurred when it looked like they'd have a first down out near midfield. That's the second time in 2 weeks they've had an illegal hit to the face on one of their offensive linemen. You don't hear that one called that often. It negated a 61-yard touchdown by Sterling Sharp last week. This time it backs up the Packers to their own 5-yard line. And the crowd with reason to get into it early for their Dolphin defense. Mikowski from the end zone. Deep ball for Sharp. Can't quite get there. J.B. Brown was covering. Green Bay will have to give it up.
But you know, there may be a silver lining in that last series for the Packers, because Mikowski did scramble around a little bit and did find his receivers. The one thing that the Dolphins defensively will do is they'll give you some things in their secondary. They play a very loose coverage, and if Mikowski gets some time in the pocket, he may be able to pick it apart.
Scott Miller, a rookie out of UCLA, back. Paul McJulian, who spent a couple of weeks in the preseason with the Dolphins, set to kick, and he's backed up to his own end line. Here comes the heat. The kick is short. Miller fair catches it right at the 40-yard line. You talk about excellent field position for Miami's offense led by Dan Marino. How about the 40-yard line of Green Bay as number 13 comes out? Marino with his offensive front of Webb, Sims, Widener, Galbraith, and Dennis. Charles Henry is the starting tight end, with Farrell Edmonds having gone on injured reserve. Mark Higgs, an early sensation in the NFL, behind Tony Page, Duper, and Clayton, the Marks brothers, the wide receivers. Marino's got to be licking his chops at the Green Bay 40 for his first play, Dan.
Excellent field position, to say the least.
And he will throw on first down. And he goes deep middle, in and out of the hands of Charles Henry. And he was wide open over the middle. Defensively for the Green Bay Packers, Brock, Tuaolo, and Robert Brown on the front three. The linebacking core, Scott Stephen, Brian Noble, Johnny Holland, and Tony Bennett. And the secondary has Holmes and Butler on the corners, Chuck Cecil and Mark Murphy are the safeties. 2nd and 10, Miami. No score early in the first quarter at Joe Robbie Stadium. Clayton to the bottom of your screen. Duper wide to the left, and Marino will change things up as he looks at the Packer defense. Here comes a blitz. Marino deep for Duper, and a little bit too far out in front. Leroy Butler was covering.
You know, in talking to Marino earlier in the week, he says that basically the same things that have been bothering the Packers have been bothering the Dolphins on offense. They're not making any big plays, and he's also been faced with too many third down and long situations, as we got right here with a 3rd and 10. He threw a perfect pass on first down, read the blitz that time, and just led his receiver too far down that sideline.
Freddie Banks, another one of those guys that was injured in the Detroit game last week, would normally be the 3rd wide receiver. So James Pruitt is one of the 4 wideouts in there. He was just re-signed this week, along with Tony Martin, Duper, and Clayton. Marino on 3rd and 10. I think a little bit short.
I think he got the wrong foot down, because the referee will go right to that spot of his left foot, and he's going to come up about 6 inches short of the first down. The out route to Duper on the outside. Watch his left foot and his right foot are there together. I think he might have got a bad spot there, because his right foot had the first down, his left foot just a little bit short.
That much short. Don Shula's going to have a look. 4th down and about a foot. 2 tight ends, a quick snap, and Hicks has a first down. And if Leroy Butler doesn't bring him down there, he's maybe looking at the end zone.
Well, you called it, Brad. It was a quick count. And what that does is it doesn't allow the Packers to really get set on defense. It's a real fine block by Tony Page, number 49. And, of course, Shula very happy about that. This is a good way to convert 4th down and short. It's got the Packers backed up early.
Dolphins 4 out of 5 this season on their 4th down conversions now. And a first down at the Green Bay 27. They'll keep it on the ground. Higgs, no gain. In fact, they have lost yardage. The entire front wall for Green Bay closed the door on him. Mark Murphy came up from the secondary. Mark Higgs, quite a story. Little guy out of Kentucky who's bounced around as a Plan B free agent and is number 2 in the NFL rushing coming into this week.
And normally he will follow number 49, Tony Page, but there's a counter play. Watch Page go here, and the linebackers come here. Higgs hits off the right side, but from the outside, Mark Murphy is going to make the play, number 37, as he closes down that gap and forces him back inside to all those big fellas.
2nd and 10, and Clayton will go in motion. Guess who? By Bryce Pop. This guy's come out of nowhere. You saw it on the NFL Today before the game.
Yeah, the great thing about it is this is exactly what Higgs hears as he gets the ball. 1, 2, 3, pop. They may have not known who Bryce Pop was before last week when he got 4.5 sacks, but at practice yesterday, one of the Dolphins was wearing a jersey with number 95 on it, so that the offensive players would know exactly where he was at all times.
Yeah, they definitely know who he is now.
They didn't know where he was, though.
3rd down and 14, backed up to the 31. Marino from the shotgun with a blitz coming, and he overshot Mark Duper. And Marino took a little shot from Lester Archambault.
Well, you know, when you make $5 million a year or $100,000 a week or something, sometimes you got to pay your price. And Archambault just levels the $5 million per year man, Dan Marino.
I think you can tell Dan didn't like the Dolphins' first offensive possession much either. So Pete Stoyanovich comes in to try to put Miami on the board. His long on the season is 47. This one's going to be from 48. Scott Secules to hold. Stoyanovich has a tremendous leg, and there's got some confusion before the snap flags down.
Well, that time we had the finger pointing before the ball was even snapped. And it's going to go against the Packers for encroachment, I believe.
Robert Brown.
Encroachment defense.
I think was the guy that jumped across, number 93. Packers were penalty prone a week ago against Tampa. Boy, they are picking up where they left off.
You know, when you give a guy a 49-yard field goal and then you have a penalty.
Defense, middle of the line.
There's a huge difference between 49 yards and 44, maybe just 5, but for a kicker, he's breathing a little bit easier now.
So Stoyanovich now from 44 yards out. And he's got it. 9:34 to go first quarter. And the Dolphins take the early 3-point lead. Robbie Stadium, where the Dolphins at home lead by 3 with 9:34 to go first quarter. Pete Stoyanovich field goal, our only scoring so far. And he's got it teed up, set to kick away by Sikahema and Charles Wilson. Back for Green Bay. After a lot of rain before the game, you can see the shadows. The sun is out now in Miami. By Sikahema takes this one from the 3-yard line. And he's got a crease up the middle. Got drilled at the 30, but a nice return. Jarvis Williams and Bobby Harden made the stop. By Sikahema, one of the top return men in the NFL. That Dolphin scoring drive didn't go far. 13 yards, 2:40 the elapsed time, and they had to settle for the field goal.
Yeah, and they converted on a 4th and short, but Marino had his first pass dropped, and then Duper comes up a little bit shy on his first reception. But you get the ball on the 40-yard line, you've got to take it in for 6 points.
Packers started their first drive at their 25 and wound up at the 5-yard line. This one's at their own 31. Let's see if they go in the right direction. Nice play fake. But again, the pressure gets to Mikowski. Bobby Harden on the safety blitz.
Well, Mikowski's going to fake the play action to Rice, but now Rice has to pick up the blitzer on the outside here. That's number 45, Bobby Harden, and Harden does a nice job of fighting off that block and getting into Mikowski's face.
So
Packers have to give Mikowski at least, 2 seconds to throw. He's getting back there, and there are people all around him.
So much for going the right direction, right? Loss of 6.
The field must be tilted.
Second down and 16 for Green Bay. Mikowski fires. That one close to being picked off by Lewis Oliver, as Sterling Sharp was the intended receiver.
And talking to Sterling earlier this week, he said it's very important if the Packers are going to turn things around that the wide receivers on this football team start to make big plays. Last week, you mentioned earlier, Brad, that Sharp did have a long touchdown run, and that's what he has in mind. This offense is built around fellas like Sharp and Perry Kemp, making big plays, sustaining drives. So far this year, they just haven't been able to do that consistently.
And again, another 3rd and long situation. 3rd down, 16 for the Packers. And it looked like Scott Jones, who's starting for Ken Rutgers, came out of his stance early.
Number 71 offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
That plan B left tackle's having a little trouble early.
Well, Scott Jones is new to the position. He's new to the Packers. Came here by way of the plan B free agency system from the Jets, but he's way offsides there. And if he continues to have problems, look for Lindy to put Billy Art at that left tackle position.
The Packers need to get all the way to the 41-yard line for a first down. You can see where they are at their own 20. They've got a lot more penalties than they have plus yardage so far. Mikowski again. Down he goes. Jeff Cross. Two sacks for the Miami defense. And the Packers are 3 and out again.
Well, what we don't see here is on the outside where Jeff Cross is, but look at the eyes here of Scott Jones. He's got his eyes on him, but the problem is he can't get enough of his body on him. Nice spin move back to the inside by Cross, and he picks up another sack, his 2nd on the year.
Paul McJulian, the punt, and he got away a dandy. Miller has to go all the way to the 29-yard line. And he's got about 12 out of the return. So it'll be the Miami offense back on the field when we come back. Dolphins lead by 3. Kessler and Dan Fouts at Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, where the Dolphins have a Pete Stoyanovich field goal. Lead 3-0 with 8:18 to go first quarter, and the Dolphins have it back on offense just inside their own 44-yard line. Total offense so far in the game, not much.
And that's from two teams that are noted for their offenses.
Yeah.
The Packers, Lindy and Fonnie's past the daylight thing, and of course Marino with all those yards passing throughout his career. Not a real good start for either of them.
Dan is 1 for 4 for 9 yards early. Marino to Tony Page. Not much of a move by Tony as Brian Noble dropped him, but he's still got close to 5 yards.
I talked to Tony this week, and his goal is become the best fullback in football. And you see he's leading the Dolphins in receptions now with 12. But when you think about it, there aren't a whole lot of great fullbacks in the National Football League now. It's so many teams are just running the one-back system that Page has got a real good shot at it because of his versatility. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's excellent at leading the tailback up into the holes, blocking for him.
That's what Lindy and Fonnie told us yesterday when we asked him about Mark Higgs. First word out of his mouth was, well, he follows a pretty good fullback. 2nd and 6. Marino The out. Got it to Clayton. He's got a first down. The 45-yard line. Mark Clayton.
Well, the key to this play, Brad, is timing. Watch how soon Marino throws this ball. Clayton hasn't even turned around yet, and the ball is in the air on the money. He turns around. That's just a receiver's dream, is to be able to catch the ball, turn upfield, face the defender, and try to get extra yards.
Got a nice consecutive game reception streak going for Mark Clayton. First down, Miami. Play fake, and Marino goes to Tony Page again. Page is close to another first down. Bryce Pop made the tackle. It'll be about a half-yard shy.
Well, this is our man, Tony Page, coming out of the backfield after the play-action pass. The fake will be to Higgs in the eye. And then watch, there's no linebackers there to pick up Page. Scott Stevens was dropping to his responsibility in the zone. But when you're playing Dan Marino, you've got to step everything up just a little bit because he gets the ball off so quickly.
Again, the quick snap and the quick opener for Higgs to the 28. Mark Higgs. Plan B free agent his first couple of years in the league, and he told Don Shula, Coach, I'd like to stay here and contribute if I can. He almost went Plan B again this year.
Well, what he's done is a good example of a guy just hanging around waiting for an opportunity, and then when that opportunity knocks, you open the door, you jump through it, and you become the second leading rusher in the National Football League.
Sammy Smith's injury, part of the reason he could jump through that opening. Smith is due to come off IR next week, but Higgs has done a remarkable job. From the Packer 29 on first down. Marino fires deep. Intended for Duper. Chuck Cecil let Duper have it on the sideline. Chuck will get his shots in.
Boy, he will. And you know, in talking to Chuck last night, he was telling us that he's not sure the Packer defense is as good as their statistics have been. He's not sure they've really been tested yet. Believe me, playing Dan Marino, he will be tested today. But if they continue to get good pressure on Marino as they did that time, force him to move around, then the Packers will be in good shape defensively.
Chuck remembered in vivid detail his first NFL interception, and it came off Dan Marino. 2nd and 10 at the 29. Tony Page to the 26, pickup of about 3. It'll bring up 3rd and 7.
It's funny how some players resemble other players from different eras. Hank Bulla, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, has been around a long time. He remembers when the Dolphins had a fullback by the name of Don Nottingham, and he says, this guy, Tony Page, looks just like him, performs just like him. And, of course, that's what Shula wants, is somebody in that backfield that can lead the way for the tailback, and that's what Page does so well.
No tailback in there here. 4 wide out group from the shotgun for Marino on 3rd and 7. Runs out of time, and down he goes. Lester Archambault and Tony Bennett are there to meet him. And the Dolphins have been sacked more this year, Marino, I should say, than in past seasons.
From the left side of the screen is number 90, Tony Bennett. And Archambault does a nice spin job right up the middle, beating the center, Burt Widener. And Marino had no time, and another sack for the Packers. That's 12 on the year. Remember, last year they only had 27 the whole year. So they've done a good job of improving their total team speed on that defensive line.
And there's what's projected for Miami. If things go as they have, they'd end up with 32 times Marino would go down. And that would be almost unheard of.
For Marino.
A 52-yard field goal attempt by Stoyanovich. She got it. Some kind of weapon is Pete Stoyanovich. He's just hit for the 2nd time today. Stadium in Miami, where the Dolphins now lead 6-0 on a couple of Pete Stoyanovich field goals. 4:03 to go first quarter. for the third time today, Stoyanovich to kick. Charles Wilson on the left of your screen, and Vi Sikahema on the right, back for Green Bay. This one will go to Sikahema at the 6-yard line. And again, out across the 25 to the 26-yard line. We talked to Pete Stoyanovich yesterday. He said last week he just didn't feel like he had it. He had a 47-yard field goal that did go in against Detroit, but it hit the crossbar. And today you see what he's done. And he said, you know, I know before the game whether I've got it or not. They considered punting in that last situation. He said, wait a minute, I can do this.
Yeah, he went up to Shula and said, hey, listen, don't send that punter in there. This was well within my range today. And boy, after you say that to a guy like Don Shula, you better knock it through.
We talked to Stoyanovich before the game, said, do you have it today? He said, you bet I do. And he's already shown it twice. Packers have struggled in the opening quarter, and they certainly have struggled so far today. And so is Alan Rice on that carry. Ryan Sauché, the first one to meet him.
Sauché was booed roundly and loudly here during the pregame warmups. Of course, he was a holdout, didn't sign until 11 days ago, and made some rather nasty remarks about his ball club and saying things like he wanted to greet the team as they came back from Buffalo with a blue and red face. This didn't sit too well with Shula, but Shula needs him. He's in there now.
With Sean Lee on injured reserve, Sauché becomes the starter. 3 wideouts for Mikowski on 2nd and 9, and they'll go with a draw play to Rice.
Alan Rice.
Rice across the 30 to the 31. It's going to be 3rd down and about 5. Alfred Oglesby in on the tackle.
The Packers are fortunate they're only down 6 points here. They've had terrible field position, and they've gone backwards in their first 2 drives, and yet their defense has come up with enough big plays to keep Marino and company out of the end zone.
Well, the first 2 times they had it, they ended up with 3rd and 29 and 3rd and 21. This one's a little more manageable for Mikowski. 3rd and 5. 4 wideouts from the shotgun. Mikowski hangs in and delivers. Charles Wilson down to the Miami 40-yard line. Pickup of 29.
Now the Packer offensive line does the job this time. 3rd and 5. Crucial situation. Good job on the right side by Scott Jones this time. And now Mikowski finds Wilson, Mr. Sweet Feet, as they call him, in the secondary. He's got those feet slipping and sliding. Big first down as the Packers now are in Dolphin territory at the 40.
A big first down, their first first down. And they do have it at Miami's 40-yard line. 2 tight end offense for Green Bay. Mikowski, play action. Incomplete. Looked like a little miscommunication between Mikowski and Perry Kemp.
Well, so much of what this offense is all about is reading on the run. Both the receiver and the quarterback have to check out the secondary, make adjustments, and those things happen. It's sometimes it's neither guy's fault, and then sometimes it's always the receiver's fault if you're the quarterback. And when you start 1 and 5, it's tough to take the blame.
Yeah, everybody's got to take a little bit. 6-0 with 1:34 to go first quarter. 2nd and 10, Green Bay. Mikowski to Ed West, his tight end. Pick up a 5. Jarvis Williams made the tackle, along with Mike Reichenbach. Williams part of that Florida safety combo back there, along with Lewis Oliver. A lot of people in this part of the country a little shocked by what happened to the Gators yesterday up at the Carrier Dome.
Yeah, it was upset day in college football.
Yeah. 3rd and 5, Green Bay.
Even the Ducks were upset by Utah.
I heard that.
Unbelievable.
Under a blitz. Mikowski got it away to Wilson again. And he got away. All the way to the 12-yard line. Vesti Jackson had a shot, and Sweet Feet got around him.
Well, and we're seeing Mikowski moving around in the pocket. This is where he's so dangerous, is when he breaks through the first wave and gets a clear field to look through. Watch us step up here, and then he throws a perfect pass on the run, and then, as you said, Brad, Sweet Feet pulls away from Vesti Jackson, takes the ball down inside the 15.
They were really high on Charles Wilson last year in the preseason as a rookie out of Memphis State. Now in his second year, and he's having a big day so far. 1st and 10 at the Miami 12. Allen Rice got a couple, but Offerdahl closed the opening in a hurry.
This is an excellent drive for the Packers, but unfortunately they're going to run out of time. And again, this will be another game, their 4th of the year, where they will not score here in the first quarter.
First quarter is over at Joe Robbie Stadium. And the Miami Dolphins, with 2 Stoyanovich field goals, have the 6-0 lead. With Dan Fouts, I'm Brad Nussler, set to start the second quarter at Joe Robbie Stadium, where the Dolphins lead at home by 6. But the Green Bay Packers, with their deepest penetration of the day, have reached the Miami 10. Packers got down in scoring territory a lot against Tampa Bay last week and just couldn't seem to find the end zone. Let's see if they do here. The lone wide receiver is Sterling Sharp. Play fake, Mikowski in trouble, and he throws it away.
You know, I went all the way into the stands. I wonder if they're going to fine him $1,000. Oh,
somebody made a pretty good catch up there too, I think.
Yeah, and this is a great job of just getting rid of it. After the play action fake, it does not fool number 91, Jeff Cross. That's a heck of a throw. Boy, he takes a lick on that hip from Klingbeil. Went all the way in the stands.
Miami has given up some ground, as you can see, when the opponent reaches inside their 20. But it's 3rd and 8 for Mikowski and company. Incomplete. Perry Kemp got a left hand on it, but Bobby Harden let him have it. And it's 4th down. Harden's made a couple of nice plays so far. Has a sack, broke up that pass, and that'll bring in Chris Jackie.
Well, the troubles continue for the Packers. It was a nice drive, though, until they changed ends. They were going real good going the other way.
Chris Jackie has never missed inside the 30-yard line in now his 3rd season. This is a 28-yard attempt. And he shows why he's never missed inside the 30, right through the middle. 14:44 to go first half. Green Bay now on the board. It's Miami 6, Green Bay 3. Field goals so far, all the scoring, as Chris Jackie, who just hit a 28-yarder, has it teed up. Set to kick away to Mark Logan and Aaron Craver. Green Bay capping a 64-yard drive with the field goal. And Mark Logan is going to have to backpedal, and Chris Jackie got all of that one. So Miami will work from its own 20-yard line. Don't forget, coming up next later today on CBS Sports, Game 2, today's doubleheader. The Rams off to a slow start, hope to turn it around against the 49ers. Both teams 1-2 and looking to get back in the race in a tough NFC West. One of the most heated rivalries in the NFL. Coming up, Game 2 today, right here on CBS Sports.
Jim Everett looking for his first touchdown pass of the year. Hasn't thrown any of the first 3 games going against the secondary. Johnny Jackson was benched in favor of Todd Bowles because he missed that tackle against Anthony Carter last week.
Boy, that was a good-looking play you had there at the Metrodome for AC, wasn't it?
He makes a lot of them.
Miami will open with 4 wideouts on this series. Penalty markers down as Craver got the catch out of the backfield and got what would be a first down. Let's wait and see. It's going to go against the Dolphins.
And another one of those illegal use of the hands. This time it's against the Dolphins. Must be something about this 20-yard line area here.
Use of hands to the face. number 78 offense.
I don't
10
think I've
yards,
seen that
first
call
down.
more than 3 times in the last 3 years, and we've had it 3 times this season already. So that negates a 12-yard pickup.
What happens so many times with these big guys is here's a guy, Richmond Webb, 6'6", and he's blocking against a guy who's 6'3" and Robert Brown, and he'll hit him in the chest with his hands, but it's natural. Those hands go right up to the throat and then right up to the neck and then right up into the face, and then you get your penalty.
And then you get 1st and 20. Bryce Pop jumping around on that Green Bay defensive front. Screen pass looks like a good call if Craver can make something out of it. And he does, back across the original line of scrimmage to the 22. Scott Stephen ran him down.
The key block, Brad, is from number 62, Harry Galbraith here, as he'll come out. That's Ken Sims. Galbraith's on the other side, but he does a nice job of allowing Craver to cut back over the middle. There's the kick out block on Brian Noble.
And the Dolphins go with a little no huddle. Marino back, got pressure and somehow got the pass away. Complete to Mark Clayton. Clayton was on his backside and Marino put it right where it had to be. Like a little pitcher-catcher thing going on there.
Dolphins hoping to wear out the Packers here in this heat and humidity, going to their no huddle hurry up offense.
They only need about a yard on 3rd down. But that is what they've struggled with this year. 3rd and short. And Craver won't get it here either.
That's a real questionable call. I'm not sure that Don Shula would like to do that one again. 3rd and 2 is when you want to send in your big guys. But remember that Farrell Edmonds was placed on IR yesterday. They're a great blocking tight end, so maybe Shula feels that they have a better chance of going with the 4 wides, trying to fool him with a draw play.
Craver didn't get anything on that draw play, and so Reggie Roby comes in to punt it away. 1st in the AFC and 2nd in the league with that 46.7 by Sikahema. We saw him on opening weekend take one back 62 yards against Philadelphia. This is a line drive spiral. Sikahema back to the 15. And really hammered at the 28-yard line. Jim Jensen crash is part of the group down there to make the stop. 55-yard punt and a 14-yard return. It's 6-3. Miami in front. 12:09 to go first half.
Sponsored by McDonald's.
Green Bay, all 52 of their yards. Charles Wilson on a couple of receptions. This one's not going to go in the offensive highlight film so far, Dan.
Well, the kickers, Stoyanovich and Chris Jackie, are giving us an example why they call this game football.
Mikowski has struggled early. He's got a 1st and 10 here, though, at his own 29-yard line. Mikowski to Perry Kemp. Kemp with a nice move. And he got out close to the 1st down. Looks to be a little bit short. David Griggs, the linebacker, got out there to stop him.
The Packers do so much of this is just run short routes and then give their receivers a chance to run with the ball after the catch. Watch as little tiny Perry Kemp at 165 pounds pulls David Griggs, who weighs 250. He pulled him about 5 yards there.
Sterling Sharp trots to the top of your screen. Kemp to the right side. It's 2nd down and 2. Blitz coming on the corner. And Allen Rice lost the ball, but Green Bay's covered it. Jarvis Williams came on the blitz, but Villiard covered Allen Rice's fumble, and it's going to be good enough for a Green Bay 1st down.
Well, Williams comes from the outside here, and he's going to crash down onto Allen Rice. After the ball is popped loose by Williams, watch as Villiard, number 67, heads up, dives, makes the recovery. 1st down Packers. But Ard has replaced Scott Jones at left tackle.
Green Bay at its own 42. Mikowski to Sterling Sharp. And he got away. And after the catch. He is so dangerous. Sterling Sharp to the 23-yard line. Vesty Jackson, for the second time today, has a wide receiver brush him off a little bit. That's Jarvis Williams down after making the stop.
Here's Sharp, number 84, in the slot here. And as you mentioned, Brad, there are a few players in the league that can do this as well as Sterling Sharp. As he pulls away from Jackson and he's down the field, this is what he talked about to me earlier in the week. He says, as receivers, we have to make big plays. So far, Charles Wilson has come up with the big ones, and now Sharp gets in on the act.
From our vantage point here, it's 6-3 Miami. Brad Nessler and Dan Fouts. It looks like Green Bay starting to get it going a little bit, Dan.
Well, as we mentioned before the commercial, is that they have to make the plays as the receivers, and it's really starting to fall into place for them. I think that last week when they had that drive at the end of the game, it gave them that old feeling back, and so far Mikowski is executing it very well.
Let's see what he can do at the Miami 23. They keep it on the ground. Keith Woodside goes nowhere. John Offerdahl is there to meet him. Offerdahl's been to the Pro Bowl every season, number 56. Looks like Darth Vader out there with all that stuff happening on the shoulder pads.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those life preservers that they wear, or the guys on the moon, or those life packs.
We thought we were going to need life preservers before the game out here with the rain, but it now is a beautiful day, the day before fall begins. 2nd and 11, a loss of 1 by Woodside. Mikowski throws on the run, and Jackie Harris somehow held on to that one. Took a big hit from Lewis Oliver. Good enough for a first down.
Well, Ed West is going to come down and across, and now this is the guy, Lewis Oliver, that's going to put the big hit on him. And this is an excellent catch because he had to catch it twice. The ball is there. Here's the hit. The ball just almost came out, reached out and pulled it in. First down Packers, maybe.
Not quite. Matter of that much, says Don Mikowski, whose numbers are getting more impressive, starting to warm up a little bit.
Well, he likes Florida. He makes his offseason home up here and up in Hollywood. Likes the heat and the humidity. I guess winter hit Green Bay this week. It went from 90 degrees on Sunday to 50 on Wednesday.
Mikowski came into talk to us yesterday all dressed up, and he said, hey, man, it was 42 when we left Green Bay this morning. Certainly won't be 42 here for a while. 3rd down and inches. Harris in motion. Vince Workman. Jarvis Williams, who went out shaken up earlier, makes another big hit.
Well, watch all these guys in here. Linebackers and strong safeties. They're going to crash the middle and force Workman to bounce to the outside, and they're just outflanked here. Great penetration by the Dolphins. There's Williams for the hit in the backfield.
Green Bay, I don't think, Dan, has enough confidence in their short yardage game. That's become apparent as they run wide and don't get it. It forces a 34-yard Chris Jackie field goal attempt. And both kickers perfect so far. Tied at 6 at Joe Robbie Stadium with 8:23 to go in the first half. Chris Jackie and Pete Stoyanovich have traded a couple of field goals. And Jackie again blasts his kickoff. And Logan will take it 8 yards deep and go down to one knee. So Miami will work from its own 20-yard line. Coming up Saturday, CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball features a couple of teams dueling it out for first in the West. You can watch the Giants battle the Dodgers or see the Braves travel to Houston to face the Astros. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The day gets underway with Baseball 91 at 2 o'clock Eastern, updating all the news around the major leagues. Baseball action next Saturday on CBS Sports. The Braves are a half game behind the Dodgers, but we got the tomahawk thing working here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Now I can feel safe going to the grocery store back in Atlanta tomorrow morning. Huh? First down, Miami. Marino to Clayton, and he hauls it in. First down. Jerry Holmes shoved him out.
Now, this is why I came to Florida, Brad. I don't know about you. I came here to watch Marino throw to Clayton and Duper. I don't want to see all this running that they've been doing lately. There's just very few things in sport that excite me as much as watching Marino throw the ball on the mark to another mark.
Got 11. First down, Dolphins. Third catch for Clayton. They go back to the ground game to Mark Higgs. And Higgs picked up about 7. Brian Noble made the tackle. Penalty marker down.
I'm going to bring this one back. We had a hold against the Dolphins, and I think it was Charles Henry. Tight end number 87.
Bob McElwee will give us a guilty party here in a second.
Holding, number 87, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Well, you called it, Dan. It is Henry, the tight end. Interesting. He started the first game of the season. Then the Dolphins waived him. He cleared waivers. And when Farrell Edmonds went down to injured reserve, he comes back today. Not only back on the roster, he starts.
Well, and you know the first reaction after you have a penalty called against you if you play for the Dolphins is you got to come over and you got to explain it to Shula. Well, Shula didn't want to hear about it. He says, get back in there.
Miami with their second penalty, and it's 1st and 20. They keep it on the ground at Craver, and Lester Archambault has that one all figured out defensively.
This is that underneath handoff draw play that the Dolphins are trying to run, but you can't run this type of play when you get penetration as the Packers are getting so far. It's a slow developing play. Archambault is in there. He ruins the trap block of Keith Sims and makes a big play in the backfield.
And it becomes second down and almost 22. From the shotgun. Stays in, buys some time, and delivers again to Clayton. Out to the 33-yard line. Boy, those guys have a sixth sense, don't they?
Well, and you talk about a guy buying something, and Marino certainly can afford it. He does a nice job of moving around here, and it is an ESP thing. When you play 10 years with one guy, you just know what he's going to do. Marino passes up Craver, finds Clayton, although Craver was wide open.
You got to love the shades. Clayton told us yesterday, he says, you know, I've had my eye scratched before. That's why I started wearing them. But he says, I think they look pretty good, too. From the shotgun, it's 3rd and 8. Over the middle, complete, but short of the first down. And it's James Pruitt this time. Pruitt cut across the middle. He was a couple of yards short of the first down when he made his break, so that one had no chance.
I think Pruitt intercepted this pass intended for one of his other teammates. There were 3 Dolphins in that area, and Pruitt reached out and grabbed it. I'm not so sure that Marino wanted him to do that.
Pruitt was just re-signed this week when Fred Banks was one of 4 guys that had to go on injured reserve for Don Shula's Dolphins. So a little bit of miscommunication there, though he was with the Dolphins last year. By Sikahema, back. Reggie Roby's first punt went 55 yards. This one went that far, too, I think. Sikahema from the 7. And he got out with a nice return to the 25. 54-yard kick that time, but Sikahema brings it back 18 the other way. 4:49 to go first half. We're tied. Stadium in Miami. The Packers and the Dolphins are tied at 6 with 4:49 to go first half. Brad Nessler and Dan Fouts along with you. Joe Robbie Stadium not sold out, as is the case much of the time. We're on the fans in the paper a little bit this morning, hoping that the Dolphins could find a personality so the fans could too. So far, a battle of field goals for 2 quarters. Allen Rice, loss on the play. Mike Reichenbach in there.
Yeah, both teams are really struggling with their ground game, and really, if you were to look at this game and try to handicap it, the one thing you talk about is the quarterbacks. The strength of the Packers obviously is Mikowski throwing to Sharp and Perry Kemp. And of course, when you talk about the Dolphins, it's Marino and the Marks brothers. But so far, nobody, we're sticking to this ground a little bit too much.
Sharp has one catch for 35 yards. Charles Wilson has a couple of grabs for Green Bay. Let's see what they do on 2nd and 13. The safety valves, Allen Rice. Rice got it across the 25 to the 27. It'll still bring up a 3rd down situation, about 6 to go.
But coaches will tell you that in order to throw the ball, you have to be able to run it, because if you don't, the defensive line is going to just tee off and get after the quarterback, and I think we're seeing a pretty good example of that on that play.
Mike Tomczak there, number 18, sends in the signals to Mikowski. 3rd down and 6 for Green Bay at their own 29-yard line. Mikowski from the gun, the slant to Wilson. He's got a 1st down, and he's been the big play guy so far today.
So much of what the Packers do is throw the ball hot to receivers after a blitz. Here's Harden, number 45, coming up the middle, and this is just a perfect throw by Mikowski. But it's easy to make perfect throws when you have pass protection. Nobody within 2 or 3 yards of Don that time.
Here's what Charles Wilson has done today, having one of his best games in a Packer uniform in his 2nd season. Green Bay 1st down at its own 37. 2:40 to go 1st half, tied at 6. Over the middle is Woodside, and he broke Lewis Oliver's tackle, and he's into Dolphin territory at the 49-yard line.
Now Mikowski's getting time, and he's just developing a rhythm here. The offensive line, with Ard now working at that left tackle position, they're keeping them away, but also he got rid of the ball right now. Didn't hold it very long. Of course, Woodside helps out by getting open right away. And not only did he break Oliver's tackle, he might have broke his helmet. Really popped him.
Secondary, the Dolphins having some trouble bringing down the Green Bay receivers. We've worked our way to the 2-minute warning. Don Mikowski and Lindy Infante will talk it over. Tie game at 6. We'll be right back.
Inside.
Green Bay and Miami tied at 6 with 2 minutes to go, but the Packers in Dolphin territory with all 3 of their timeouts. They've got it at the Miami 49-yard line.
And it appears the Packers are a little snappier here, Brad. The Dolphins, of course, have suffered from the flu all week, and this humidity, and as long as they practice, they probably put more time on the practice field than anybody. But that's been Shula's trademark for 299 wins.
That was the best spot on the field right there between the fans. On 1st down, Mikowski to Woodside again, and Woodside has 7 more yards. Mikowski now 10 out of 16, and he's hit his last 7. Brian Cox made the tackle.
And Mikowski knows he has 3 timeouts, and he also knows that he wants to use all of this clock before they go in for a touchdown or kick a field goal, because Marino and company's on the other sideline.
2nd and 3. The Dolphin 42. Mikowski on a hot streak. It continues. Sterling Sharp, 1st down, Green Bay. And Mikowski's going to use one of those 3 timeouts.
That's a good call. Watch the secondary here, and Mikowski and Sharp are going to work. Here, Sharp will come down and across the middle here. 2 deep zone for the Dolphins. All the linebackers drop short. Sharp cuts it right in between them. The ball is right there, and it's a 1st down for Green Bay.
You get one of those streaks, Dan, where everything starts to work. This is 8 straight now that Mikowski's hit.
Well, not only has he hit a few, he gets hit himself. Watch this shot from David Griggs. But you know, one thing is you do develop a rhythm. The key, of course, is time to throw. But as we mentioned earlier in the 1st quarter, Mikowski started the game well, moved around in the pocket when he was feeling pressure, and found some receivers. Now you get time to throw, and boy, you've got it all going in your favor.
Mikowski's got to love it because his arm has been questioned after having rotator cuff surgery in the offseason. The last couple of weeks with the Packer offense struggling, there's been all kinds of reports on whether or not that shoulder and that arm's okay. It looks pretty good this drive, I'd say.
Well, that's a bunch of bull, really. He is 100% strong, and he's throwing the ball very, very well.
At the 28 of Miami. Mikowski with a lot of time. And now he'll keep it. Got what he could, about 5 yards, and ran out at the 23-yard line. Saints try to go to 4-0. And Indianapolis looking for a win. As we look at other scores, battle of the black uniforms there going on between the Raiders and the Falcons. It'll be 2nd down and 5 at the 23 for Mikowski. And the Green Bay offense, which has looked pretty good this ball game so far, though we're deadlocked at 6.
They had a terrible start, but they battled through it, much as they did last week against Tampa Bay.
On 2nd and 5, Mikowski to Sterling Sharp again. And he goes out a little bit short of the 1st down. Tried to give some ground to gain some, and he never quite got to the stick.
Well, and he's trying to find an opening in that secondary. Watch him from the left side of the screen here. Goes in, and then he'll come back to the outside. Makes a heck of a one-handed grab. But the Dolphins, they know where number 84 is. And a couple linebackers there converge on him, push him out of bounds.
Don Shula in search of career win number 300. Lindy Infante is looking for his 22nd win as head coach of the Packers. His team needs a yard on 3rd down. And they'll stay in the spread, so it appears that they'll throw for it. But they give it to Workman on a little quick opener, and he's going to lose yardage. But we've got flags all over the place.
A long count by Mikowski may have forced the Dolphins to come across.
If so, it'll be an automatic 1st down. That's going to be the call. So a free 5 for the Packers.
Defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
1st down, Green Bay. 55 seconds till halftime, and then it'll be the Dockers halftime report. Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights, the latest information for you, and a look at how far some players will go to convince the refs that they're innocent when the penalty flag falls. That's all coming up halftime here at CBS Sports, and we are 55 seconds away from intermission at Joe Robbie Stadium with the Dolphins and Packers tied at 6. But Green Bay's got a 1st down at the Miami 14. Woodside comes out to the bottom of your screen as a wide receiver. Mikowski goes complete to Ed West. Touchdown. Ten straight completions for Mikowski, and the 10th one's good for 6. Ed West catches a touchdown about every 6 times he handles the ball. That was his 5th catch of the season. He got it in the end zone.
That's the good news. He doesn't handle it very often. It's the bad news.
Jackie in for the point after.
Caught the ball about the 3-yard line, just powered his way in for the score.
Chris Jackie puts the Packers in front by 7.
We'll take a look at the touchdown here. This is Ed West going down and out, but the key is outside here by Woodside. He clears out. There's the hole, and now the extra effort, rolling over one guy, pulling the other guy in for 6.
14-yard touchdown. We'll get another look.
Watch Mikowski look to the left side, come back to the right, stand tall and strong in the pocket. West is wide open, and then the great effort for the touchdown.
And when you go 75 yards and you hit 10 straight, that's what it feels like to get the last one complete for the touchdown.
Yeah, that's a fun feeling. And when you're playing against a guy on the other sideline by Marino, even though by the name of Marino, even though Mikowski won't admit it, it really gives you an extra special little kick, because you know that this guy is the best in the game at throwing touchdown passes. Mikowski's having a heck of a first half here.
Mikowski's admitted that he watches film of Marino and his quick release to try to learn a few things he doesn't know. So He's not against learning from some guys that know how to put it in the end zone. He got it in that time. 13-6 the kickoff goes to Aaron Craver. And Craver with a nice return out to the 33, maybe the 34-yard line. And here comes Marino and company. Miami has had a good place to start on the field, but they haven't really turned it into much.
Well, look at this. 3 plays and then a field goal, and another 3 plays and a field goal. So they're not doing very well on offense, and it appears to me that they really do have an identity crisis here. Do you want to be a team that runs the ball and powers, controls the ball on the ground, or do you want to use your very best weapon, the strong right arm of Dan Marino? And it appears right now that the Dolphins are confused.
Dolphins have all of their timeouts remaining. 4 receivers for Marino from the shotgun. And he fires a little bit high, and Leroy Butler almost picked that pass off. Tony Martin, the intended receiver. You know, when we talked to Marino yesterday, very diplomatic in talking about the new ball control offense of the Dolphins. He kind of smiles. You know that he wants to put it up maybe a little bit more.
Boy, that ball was close to being a touchdown. One of 2 ways there. If Butler makes the grab, the Packers got a good shot at 6, and Tony Martin, ball went right through his hands, or he might be testing the new no fun league rules.
35 seconds left in the half. The Dolphins from their own 34, trailing by a touchdown. Plenty of time for Marino. In and out of the hands of Tony Martin again, the intended receiver. Roland Mitchell put a lick on it.
Well, it was interesting in talking to Mark Clayton yesterday about that last play last week that the Dolphins had against the Lions, where Marino never looked to the side of Clayton and Duper. He went to Tony Martin on the slant that was knocked away on a 4th down play that cost the Dolphins the win. It was very surprising to Clayton that he and Duper were used as decoys.
Miami's 0 on their 3rd down conversions. They've got 3rd and 10 here. A half minute left in the first half. Marino steps up and lets it fly. And it's intercepted. Vinnie Clark, the Packers' #1 draft choice, and he's bringing it back with a convoy in front. 14 seconds left in the half, and Green Bay still has a chance to try to get in field goal range.
Well, just as Chuck Cecil's very first interception was against Marino, this is Vinnie Clark's first interception of his NFL career. And Dan appears is just trying to throw it away because the Dolphin that he's throwing to is way short. That's Mark Duper. Vinnie Clark did a nice job of keeping his head up and looking after the ball. Marino's the most surprised guy out here. A little surprised that his guy didn't keep running, and that Clark did, and he picks off his first int.
An all Big Ten performer at Ohio State and the Packers' #1 draft choice, and now they've got 14 seconds left to try to move it down the field to give Chris Jackie a shot. Mikowski wants to throw a screen to Workman, and Workman, with a nice play, goes down as E.J. Jr. drags him down from behind.
That ought to do it. Great play by E.J. Jr. Faked the blitz, stayed with his guy, and keeps the Packers from getting down and getting any more points.
Boy, the Dolphins aren't hearing what they hope to hear on the way to the locker room. A lot of boos from the Miami fans as the Dolphins trail Green Bay at halftime, 13-6. Halftime at Joe Robbie Stadium with the Dolphins trailing the Packers 13-6. And Green Bay got a touchdown with 48 seconds to go before intermission. Green Bay's offense is in gear, but I think you hit it on the head, Dan, a little while ago. I think it's time for Miami to figure out what they want to be and what they want to do in the rest of this game.
It's going to be very difficult for them to run the ball against the Packers. Coming into today's game, the Packer defense had only given up less than 3 yards per carry on the ground. Now, what that tells me is that, hey, if I'm Marino, that's great because I want to put it up. That's my personality. That's what Duper wants. That's what Clayton wants. And that's what these fans want.
Well, Mikowski's getting what he wants right now. As you take a look at the halftime statistics, he really warmed up, and with it came the Green Bay offense to the tune of 172 total yards.
And Mikowski hits 11 passes in a row, which is just 7 off his record that he shares with Lynn Dickey. But Marino has not had the best of it in the last 6 quarters with 0 touchdown passes. And this is a guy that makes his living doing that.
You just got to think, though, that Marino can't be held down for long, even though that 6 quarters is a long, long time. If he gets in a streak, we'll have a real shootout. So far, we have Green Bay in front by a touchdown as we're set to start the 3rd quarter. And the Dolphins will have it first. Chris Jackie's got it teed up. And he has pounded his kickoff so far in this game and hasn't given Mark Logan or Aaron Craver any kind of chance for returns. They're back deep again. And we're underway in the 2nd half. This kick will go to Mark Logan at the 5. And Green Bay does a nice job bringing down Logan as he crossed the 22-yard line. Dan Marino was warming up before the start of this 3rd quarter, and he's throwing some fastballs out there.
Well, this is he's not used to not performing well. He admitted after losing to Detroit that he played poorly, and I'm not so sure that he's happy with his performance in the 1st half either.
Those are the numbers last week, and there hasn't been many times he hasn't thrown a touchdown, nor is it very often he's under 50%. And both the case a week ago. Clayton in motion. And the Dolphins go to the ground game with Higgs, and he got out to the 24-yard line. That's about all. Mark Murphy from the secondary, and on the stop.
Well, you just look into Marino's eyes, and you can see the fire there, and a little bit frustration as well. It's the signal from the sidelines. Sometimes you can read a quarterback's lips in the huddle. If he doesn't say a whole lot of words, it's going to be a running play. So I think it's going to be here.
2nd down and 8. Page and Higgs in the Miami backfield, and Clayton and Duper, you see there that at top of your screen. That's where Marino wants to go, and then goes short instead to Page's fullback, who got it to the 30, but he's still a couple yards short of the 1st down. Johnny Holland and Brian Noble made the tackle. Johnny Holland, they call him Mr. Anywhere. Seems to be around the football, and the Packer defense has been today. 3rd down and a long 2 for Dan Marino and the Miami offense. 3rd down conversions has not been Miami's strong suit today. Higgs, I think he's got the 1st down, as he just kind of pinballed out there after being hit by Matt Brock. Then he got the 1st. It's a good thing. Fans, you could just sense they were ready to go crazy if he didn't get that 1st down.
They had their booze loaded up, didn't they?
They sure did.
Well, Higgs has had a heck of a start to this year, but having a tough time so far against the Packer defense.
First down for Miami since early in the 2nd quarter. And the ball loose. Marino got back on top of it. And that just makes him one more closer to the all-time fumble record in the NFL. I don't know who holds that mark, but
well, his name will we'll keep that a secret to protect the guilty. But Marino gets on this one. That was appeared to be a good snap. Widener had no idea it was on the ground, but it is a wet field down there. Had a lot of rain just before kickoff.
First win ever for Don Shula as head man of the Colts 28 years ago to the day. Deep ball. It's intercepted by Chuck Cecil. Cecil back across the 45 to the 40-yard line. And that one skipped off the intended receiver, Charles Henry and Mark Murphy. And Chuck Cecil has another interception off Dan Marino.
Well, this is his 7th of his career. And watch the ball hits off of Mark Murphy, number 37 here, and goes up in the air. That's a great play by Murphy, batting it backwards to Cecil. And don't you know that Cecil lays out for that ball? A lot of crazy bounces have happened this year against the Packers so far. This is one that will go in their favor, but does he have it? No, I don't think so. They're hustling the line of scrimmage. The officials just saw that last bounce. They're going to review it, and they're going to take this one away from Green Bay.
Chuck's hiding back there on the Green Bay bench. It was a great effort to try to drag that in, but they'll have a look.
On the field. The play is being reviewed.
Yeah, he's going to turn his back to us, but when he comes back around, you're going to see that ball laying on the ground right about there. That's no catch, folks. Heck of a try.
We have a reversal. Incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
Chuck's going to have to put his helmet back on.
Boy, in the Packer offense, they were right at the line of scrimmage. They got the play from Mikowski, sprinted to the line of scrimmage, tried to get the ball snapped. But that last replay is what the officials saw, and they made the correct call.
So now we'll go back and straighten it out, give it back to the Miami Dolphin offense, and they put it down at the 28-yard line.
But again, it's another third down and long situation for Miami. 15 yards to go. Something that they've been faced with too many times this year.
Mark Duper without a catch today. Clayton has been Marino's favorite target. Marino pressured from the backside. Tony Martin made a diving catch, but I think he's about a yard shy. He needed 15. He got about 14. Sean Patterson put the heat on Dan Marino.
Absolutely right, Brad. He came up a yard shy of that first down. Now the question, do you go for it on 4th and 1? Remember, the Dolphins did earlier in the game. At that point, though, they had a little better field position. And Marino sends out his, Shula sends out his punter.
Not a happy coach or quarterback. Reggie Roby to punt. Gary Stevens having some words there, the quarterback coach for Miami, with Marino.
And Stevens has coached a lot of great ones at the University of Miami. Kozar, Kelly. Now Marino.
30-second clock. Little problem with that. Visekahema has done a nice job on the returns today for Green Bay.
Yeah, they should have set the clock at 45 seconds.
Reggie Roby having just a normal day for him. Averaging almost 55 a kick. Here's what he's done as far as placing it inside the opponent's 20.
And that's where Sikahema is right now.
Sikahema has a chance from the 14. Nowhere to hide, though, as the Dolphins do a nice job covering it. And with 10:51 to go third quarter, it's still the Green Bay Packers leading by a touchdown. Joe Robbie Stadium, it's the Packers 13-6 over the Dolphins with 10:51 to go third quarter. With Dan Fouts, I'm Brad Nessler. Packers have put up points the last 3 times they've had the ball. Allen Rice. And the counter play gets him out to the 23-yard line, maybe the 24. Pick up of close to 5. Brian Cox, a rookie linebacker, made the tackle.
And we talked about Mark Higgs is staying with the Dolphins when he could have gone plan B. Well, Allen Rice did go plan B from Minnesota down here to actually to Green Bay. And he made the team because he's a versatile guy. They were looking, Lindy told us yesterday, for a guy that could play in their flush back, catch the ball, and also be able to pick up blitzing linebackers. Well, Rice has been able to do both of those things. Now he's in the starting lineup.
He got almost 6 on that last carry. 2nd and 4. Mikowski. There goes this 12 straight completions. And I think he got an intentional grounding to boot. Jarvis Williams came on the safety blitz, and Mikowski threw it away at the end.
Well, I don't disagree with the call. I disagree with how long it took Bob McElwee to make the call. He waited and waited and had to mull it over in his mind before he threw the flag. Here's the blitz by Williams on the outside. Now, I'm not so sure that's a bad call, but the flag will not come in now for a long time. Dolphins trying to make something happen.
I think they picked the flag up, Dan. They did. There was a receiver somewhere in the general vicinity, we're told now.
Well, it would be nice for McElwee to give us an explanation. There's got to be a reason you throw the flag in the first place. Give us the courtesy of telling us why you pick it up.
3rd down and 4. With 4 wide receivers, Mikowski from the gun. And incomplete, a one-hopper to Sterling Sharp. So the Packers will have to give it up.
Well, the media and the fans will be saying, oh, there's got to be something wrong with Mikowski's arm. Did you see that ball flutter and quack and the whole bit? Well, he was hit just as he let it go. But they're always looking for a reason why a quarterback's having problems. And, of course, when you're coming off shoulder surgery, that's almost a guarantee they're going to point at that.
Paul McJulian into punt. Scott Miller back inside his own 35. Brian Noble directing some traffic there as the final source of protection for McJulian, and boy, did he get a hold of this one. Miller back to the 20. But he's got almost 17 on the return. Penalty marker down. 55-yard kick. But McJulian outkicked the coverage, and Miller went 18 yards the other way. Now let's see what the marker is about.
Now they're going to get Mark Logan for a block in the back. That's what sent Miller down the sideline. Yep, clipping.
So that takes away a nice return by Scott Miller.
Personal foul. Clipping. Number 20 on the run back.
Now, you know,
15 yards.
It's unbelievable
First down.
that a player could do that, because they're told by the coaches, you know, if he's got his numbers on the back to you, you let him go. He puts his team in a big hole after a nice return.
Nessler and Dan Fouts at Joe Robbie Stadium, where the Dolphins trail the Packers by a touchdown with 9:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. Miami's offense has struggled today to this point. And they go back to the ground game. Higgs with a big opening on the right side, and he got 14. That's the first time we've seen their ground game do much today.
Well, their offensive line's probably getting tired of getting yelled at when they go over the sidelines. But this is what Higgs does well, is cut back. Says his idol is Tony Dorsett. And that's the type of run that Dorsett did so well for the Cowboys.
There's what the Miami rushing attack has done today after being so effective in the first 3 games. Higgs got 13 and a first down. He goes left side this time, and not much there, out to the 36. Let's get an update right now on the Lions and the Colts, and we go to Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg.
All right, Brad, in Indianapolis, watch the Lions in on Indianapolis punter Ron Stark. He never had a prayer. The ball's marked down there, but 2 plays later, Barry Sanders scored from 2 yards out, and the Lions lead the Colts 14-10 in the 3rd, Brad.
All right, the Lions trying to go to 3-1. One of these 2 teams looking for their 2nd win of the season. 2nd down and 8. Higgs, no gain. In fact, he lost a yard. Brian Noble made the tackle. Dolphins have been trying to balance their offense.
And you can see the percentages here. Back when Marino was throwing for all those thousands and thousands of yards each year, of course, they didn't have the running attack or the offensive line with Richmond Webb and Keith Sims as their 2 top picks last year. That's why Shula likes his ground game. but they appear to have an identity crisis at this point.
Now they're in the situation where they have to throw again. 3rd down and 9. Marino in trouble. And he lost the ball. Covered by Mark Dennis, but the Packers come up with another sack. Bryce Pop, I think, is the guy.
Well, we'll check it out. Marino has to hold this ball a long time. This is what you call a coverage sack. Burnell Dent forces him up in the middle, and then it is Bryce Pop picking up another sack. That gives him 6.5 on the year, and his first of the afternoon.
Sacks on the day. And the Packers force a Miami punt.
It shows you the teamwork necessary to get sacks. Good job in the secondary.
Sikahema back. Reggie Roby can air it out, which he does. Sikahema from the 20. Across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. Showing why he's been to the Pro Bowl a couple times as a return man is Vi Sikahema, and the Packers with a touchdown lead on offense when we come back. A heat in Miami that'll cramp you up before the game's over. That's what Bobby Harden appears to be suffering from. With 6:47 to go, 3rd quarter, and the Dolphins trailing the Green Bay Packers 13-6. Lindy Infante's offense has looked pretty sharp this afternoon. Green Bay from its own 39. Mikowski has a look to the left and takes off on his own to the right. Got about 13 and a first down at the Miami 46.
Boy, and no flag. That was real close to being a penalty. Mikowski appeared to be well out of bounds when Magruder got to him, the former Packer himself.
Nobody home on that backside except Magruder.
Well, Mikowski did a nice job of making the defensive back think he was going to throw the ball, when in his mind he had made up his mind that he was going to run with it. Picked up a first down.
At the 46 of the Dolphins. Woodside and Allen Rice behind Mikowski. The play fake, and Woodside a little screen, and the Dolphins have it well read. Brian Cox is the first guy that got out there and mixed things up, and then Alfred Oglesby made the tackle.
But Woodside's got to be a little dizzy going back to the huddle, Brad. This ball probably shouldn't have been thrown because Cox has got Woodside in his sights the whole way. Mikowski's got to see that, but this is one spin here and another. And he might need to take a breather.
He found a dance partner, didn't he? 2nd down and 14. Second and 14 at midfield. Mikowski for Kemp, and he overshot it. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and long. Packers leading 13-6 with 5:20 to go, 3rd quarter. Mikowski, after that hot streak, is having a little trouble finding it right now, but those are pretty good looking numbers so far in the afternoon. The touchdown was to Ed West. That's our only touchdown of the day. Fans picking it up for the Miami Dolphin defense on 3rd and 14. Mikowski incomplete. They got pretty good pressure on him again, flushed him out of the pocket just a bit, and he tried to get it to Sterling Sharp. Green Bay, after having a first down in Dolphin territory, will have to punt it away.
Well, the Dolphins' best pass rusher is Jeff Cross. He's working against Billy Ard here on the right side of the screen. And watch, it's just a power rush, pushes Ard all the way back into Mikowski, and now it forces a quarterback off balance and an incomplete pass.
Paul McJulian to punt. Scott Miller stands at his own 10-yard line. High wobbly kick. Miller will take it. And didn't much out of it. Penalty marker down as Tim Houck made the tackle. Houck, one of the top special teams players for Green Bay. Let's see what the flag's about. Looked like it happened right at the end of the play, but I thought it was a clean hit.
Illegal block in the back, number 34 on the return.
Second time today that's happened to Miami.
Boy, and you know Shula's just seething on the sidelines. You start off with field position where your returner gets you out a little bit, but the penalty really backs you up.
Robbie Stadium in Miami, where the Dolphins trail the Green Bay Packers 13-6 with just over 5 minutes to go, third quarter. With Dan Fouts, I'm Brad Nessler. And Miami with their worst field position to start a drive on the day. Mark Higgs about a yard. He's found some tough sledding today against the Green Bay defense.
Well, the strength of the Packer defense are their linebackers, Noble and Holland here. Watch as they read the run and stay and watch for the cutback run there. Noble stuffs Keith Sims, gets in on the tackle.
And Higgs gave Keith Sims a helmet right in the back, trying to find some room to run. He only got a yard, second down and 9. From behind Dan Marino. Blitz coming on Marino. In and out of the hands of his tight end Henry, and he's dropped a couple today. You see the frustration on the face of the Dolphin quarterback. And that's all they've gotten today, 82 yards in the air.
And I talked to Jerry Holmes about what he would like to hopefully contain Marino to today. He said if we can keep him to 250 yards or less, we got a heck of a shot. Holmes has played against the Dolphins when he was with the Jets, so he knows what Marino's capable of doing.
This is a guy that threw for over 5,000 yards in a single season back in the mid-80s. Got that one complete to Duper. First time today Duper has a grab, and it's good for a first down. And now the boos have turned to Dupes.
Yeah, here's the Duper, super duper Mark Clayton on the outside here with the slant pattern, and Marino puts it right on his belly button. Big first down, gets the Dolphins out of a hole.
Out to the 26-yard line. Higgs is a single setback behind Marino. And he sweeps the left side. Oh, what a hit he took. Head on again. Leroy Butler came up. Chuck Cecil made that helmet cruncher on Higgs that slowed him down.
Well, you look at the sticks on his helmet, too. Well, you know how you get those sticks? Here it is.
Oh, brother. Lord. That'll make you head to the sideline, which is where Chuck Cecil's gone.
You don't get those marks on your helmet just by sitting on it either.
Chuck Cecil's had a history of having those stinger problems in his shoulders and neck after tackles just like that one. He's out of there right now. Marino trying to reload, and down he goes. Bryce Paup with his second sack of the day. He's got 7.5 on the year.
And where did he come from? Around the outside. What he does so well is rush hard and low to the outside. From the right side of the screen, he's going to go all the way around Richmond Webb and come in the back door on Marino. Marino never saw him. Lucky he didn't fumble the ball.
Hank Bollock told us yesterday, he says he will stay about table high, as we were talking to Hank, and he says Pop will stay so low and then sneak in, and he does here. The pride and joy of Scranton, Iowa, all of about 700 people in his hometown. And he is making a name for himself in the National Football League.
He started with a pretty good name too, huh? Pop. And now the Dolphins call timeout. This is a team in real trouble.
Last week, when they had it first and goal down close against Detroit, trying to pull out a win, they looked a little bit confused offensively, and I think it's been the same story here for almost 3 quarters today.
And you know what they ought to do right now is they ought to just stop and take a deep breath, look at the scoreboard, look at the time left, and say, hey, boys, it's only a 7-point game here. This isn't as bad as you might think.
Marino talking it over with head coach Don Shula. Coming up next on CBS, don't forget, we will head west. The Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. Key battle in the NFC West, especially the way the Saints have been playing, as the Saints are going to go to 4-0, and you can't let them out of your sights. That's what the Rams and 49ers are thinking at Candlestick, coming up in Game 2 of our doubleheader right here on CBS. It's a warm one at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. Your basic even 3 digits.
Almost.
And the Dolphins trailing the Green Bay Packers, who came down from cold weather in the Midwest to the heat of Miami and lead by a touchdown. 3rd and 12, Dolphins. Marino's been sacked 3 times today. Got rid of this one in a hurry. First down. Second straight time in this possession he's gotten a first down pass to Mark Duper.
Well, this is what we've been talking about all day. You got to get the ball in Marino's hand, thrown to the Marks brothers. Unfortunately, Clayton is down with a groin injury, but Duper's still healthy, and he still has the ability to make the grab. He ran 10 yards after he caught that ball, picked up a big first down.
So they do it back-to-back on 3rd down and long, but you just got to wonder where they're going to open it and throw on first down. They have the first down here at their own 38-yard line. And they will throw long on first down for Tony Martin. Incomplete. Jerry Holmes hung with him stride for stride, the old veteran.
Well, Martin's only in his 2nd year, and he's going to get an earful from Marino, if not today, then maybe tomorrow when they look at the films of this game, because Martin gave up on the ball at the very end, and that ball was really well thrown.
Despite a groin problem that has made, we understood, Mark Clayton questionable for the second half. He just trotted back out there for the Dolphins, and he comes to the bottom of your screen, number 83. 2nd and 10. Marino throws short to Tony Page. Page close to the first down, about a yard short. Joe Fuller, the nickelback, made the tackle. I thought Marino was going to roll right into Bryce Popp again, who was coming strong from the outside, but he got rid of it, as he can do so quickly.
Yeah, the problem with Clayton having that pulled groin, he can probably run patterns and everything, but what does he do after he catches the ball when he has to improvise? That's where he's going to be hurting if he stays in the game. He's out right now.
2 tight ends set here on 3rd down in the yard, and an extra lineman in as well for the Dolphins. Higgs will try to sweep for it, and he doesn't get it. Didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, in fact. Tony Bennett, the linebacker.
Well, the key to any good defensive play on short yardage is penetration, and you watch a lot of green shirts will come across this line of scrimmage. Again, it's linebackers. Holland there, up from the secondary is Fuller. And it's another 4th down for the Dolphins as they fail to convert another 3rd down and short.
We showed you that statistic earlier, that 3rd and short has really been an Achilles heel for the Dolphins so far this year, and it certainly has been in this game again. So now on 4th, it's Reggie Roby to punt. Almost kicked this one out of the stadium. And down at the 1. You can't do it any better than that. 54 yards in length and out at about the 1.5 yard line. 8 seconds left, 3rd quarter. That'll make you smile.
What a tough life these punters have. But this is, as you said, Brad, a perfect punt. And the ball had eyes. Jumped right into JB's hands there, out of bounds at the 1 yard line.
Reggie Roby's 4th punt of 50 yards or more today. And obviously the Green Bay Packers, in what might be the final play of the 3rd quarter, not in such great shape field position-wise. Just inside their own 2. Allen Rice dropped at the goal line. He may have lost a half yard or so, as The third quarter comes to a close with the Packers leading 13-6. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Quarters when you change ends of the field. Come on, guys, let's hustle down there. Come on, who's going to be first? Come on, let's get in that huddle. Here these guys, they're in no hurry at all as they make the 100-yard trek to the other end of the field.
Like a cattle drive from Lonesome Dove.
It almost took as long.
Green Bay at its own 2 to start the fourth quarter. Markowski dropped it. Touchdown. Chuck Klingbeil. Touchdown Miami.
Well, a 3-man rush for the Dolphins, and how many bad bounces can the Packers have in one short year? Mikowski drops this ball. He's patting it. He just dropped it. It bounced away from him. There's Klingbeil for the touchdown. Unbelievable. He's just patting the ball. He knocks it out of his own hand. And the crazy bounce of that oblong ball bounces towards Miami.
Klingbeil out of Northern Michigan with his first NFL touchdown. Stoyanovich to try to tie it up, and does. One play into the fourth quarter. We are deadlocked at 13.
Game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
As you take a look at the game summary, Green Bay leading in some categories. It really doesn't matter now when you take a look at what just happened to the Packers. Mikowski, good numbers, but caused his own fumble on the first play of the fourth quarter. Recovered by Miami for a touchdown, and we are tied at 13.
And it was all set up by that 54-yard punt from Reggie Roby that went out on the 1-yard line. What a gift, though, for Klingbeil, huh?
The kick will be from the 30 because of a celebration penalty that cost Miami 5 yards. Sikahema from the 10. Sikahema. Another good return. He's done it with both kickoffs and punts today, and he's all the way out to the 37-yard line. Mikowski set to lead the Packers, but this is what happened last time he touched it.
This is an unconscious thing a lot of quarterbacks do when they're getting nervous in the end zone there. He knows where he is. He's trying to find a receiver, and the ball just slips out of his hands. It's a bad habit, but a lot of quarterbacks have it. I'm sure we'll see Marino do it at some point today, but I guarantee you that Mikowski may never do it again.
Jackie Harris going out holding his left hamstring. Tie game at 13 as you look at other scores from around the league.
You see a nervous little smile there on Mikowski's face. He's a little bit embarrassed about what just happened.
Green Bay from its own 37. Mikowski got it out to Sterling Sharp. First down near the 48-yard line, and Mikowski a little slow to get up.
Boy, anytime Mikowski gets dumped, you worry about that shoulder. Nothing wrong with this throw. This ball is right on target, but the sharp cut by Sharp, and then the hands. The guy's got it all. He's in a class with Anthony Carter and Jerry Rice. And Mikowski will pay for this completion with a shot in the back from the guy. You know, he just gave the guy a gift touchdown, and the guy treats him that way.
Chuck says, I'm going to find you anyway.
Ought to be a law.
First down, Green Bay. Tie game. Mikowski somehow got away. Incomplete, intended for Ed West.
Well, he did a disappearing act there, did the magician. Jeff Cross was coming from behind. He got away from him and had 3 other guys right in his face.
Cross, the top rusher for the Dolphins the past couple of seasons.
He went to the Pro Bowl last year after getting 11.5 sacks. Shula likes his weak side pass rush now that Brian Cox is developing into a fine outside linebacker, number 51. They're putting a lot of pressure on Mikowski from his blind side so far today.
That's where Ken Rutgers would normally be starting at left tackle. 2nd and 10. Here comes a blitz on Mikowski. Somehow got rid of it, and West made the catch. David Griggs brought West down. That's a first down, Green Bay.
Well, Mikowski is really battling back from that mistake he just had with the fumble in the end zone. This is confidence in his offensive line. He steps up into the eye of the storm there. Watch this catch by Ed West as he plays basketball with Griggs on his back. Low post move there. Got the reception, got the first down.
At the 41-yard line. 3rd catch of the day for the Green Bay tight end. Normally known for his blocking prowess. He has the Green Bay touchdown, of course, in the first half. Mikowski over the middle this time to Woodside. Ball came loose. Miami's got it. Jarvis Williams.
Well, another crazy bounce victimizes the Packers. Woodside working out of the backfield from the left side here. Dolphins drop into their zones. He never had it. It's an interception. But the ball was on target, and he just didn't make the grab. Heads up there by Jarvis Williams.
His first interception of the season. And Miami back to work on offense now. Remember, their touchdown came on a touchdown by their nose tackle. So far, the offense has only a couple of field goals. Marino throws short to Page. Page to the 42-yard line.
But isn't it interesting what we're seeing now? We're not seeing a whole lot of running, are we? The Packers are throwing it. They're airing it out. They're having success. The Dolphins come right back on first down. Marino finds Page for a very nice 8-yard gain.
5th catch for Tony Page. He got 8. It's 2nd down and 2. At the 42-yard line. Both wide receivers to the left side. Marino. The ball incomplete, intended for Tony Martin.
Boy, and what a veteran play by Jerry Holmes there. Martin, it appeared, had that catch, but Holmes doing exactly what you're told as a defensive back. When the receiver reaches, you reach for his hands, and he gets his left hand in there and knocks it away. But watch as Holmes sees Martin go up with his hands. Holmes' hands go up. He's got one to ensure the tackle if he makes the grab, but the left hand knocked it away. Nice play.
Here's the stickler again for the Dolphins. 3rd down conversions. 3rd and 2. Higgs. Boy, they can't buy one, can they? Bryce Pop made the tackle. Robert Brown, the old veteran, forced that play, and Pop cleaned up.
Well, the players that the Packers have here, in other words, they're not really missing Tim Harris a whole lot. The way that Pop has come on and the way that Robert Brown made that play right there. A lot of talk as to what they're going to do with Tim Harris, but right now these players are playing like they don't care where he is.
After this game, the Dolphins might want to trade for Bryce Pop, huh? Roby, did he do it again? Nope, not quite. Landed on about the 3 and made the end zone. 58-yard kick that time for Reggie Roby, but it'll be the Packers from their own 20 when we come back. 11:20 to play in the ball game, and the Green Bay Packers and Miami Dolphins tied at 13. Dan Fouts and Brad Nessler along with you. There you see the story. Mikowski, who was so hot in the second quarter when he had a string of 11 straight completions, including a touchdown pass to his tight end Ed West, and he'll be working from his own 20-yard line here. The only touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. Chuck Klingbeil, their nose tackle, covered Mikowski's fumbled pass attempt from the end zone. So it's been the defense of Miami that has put up the touchdown. Vince Workman, only about a yard. John Offerdahl on the bottom of the pile. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Under 11 minutes to play in the game. In regulation, I should say, at this point.
Oh, we don't want to start talking about the old word just yet, Brad. Overtime. Oh, no.
Don't rush it, right?
Not in this heat.
Mikowski delivers outside. Sterling Sharp watches it go by. Brian Cox, the closest man covering. Let's get an update right now on the Redskins and the Bengals, and we go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Brad, at Cincinnati, James Brooks sidelined with a sprained ankle. Craig Taylor subbing for him and doing quite well, thank you. 34 yards for his 2nd touchdown of the day. The 0-3 Bengals have closed to within 3. 27-24 Skins in the 3rd, Brad.
Good one going in the jungle. Here at Joe Robbie, we're deadlocked at 13. Here come the fans to aid the Miami defense again. It's 3rd and 9. Flags down. Mikowski deep for Wilson. And almost picked off by Oliver, but they whistled this thing dead while the ball was in the air.
And we had a false start against the Packers.
False start. Number 57 before the snap. Before the snap. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Rich Moran, the left guard. With all the noise the fans were making here, we couldn't hear the whistle until the ball was already gone. And on the back end of that play, Lewis Oliver trying to make a diving interception. He's still down on one knee. I don't know if it's just exhaustion or if he was shaken up on the play.
Maybe a combination of the two, but he's waving off the trainers. And now he's got to come out. And once the trainers get halfway out on the field, referees are going to make them take somebody with them as they go off.
Mike Aquinello gets into that safety spot as Oliver comes off. It is 3rd down and 14 for the Packers. Mikowski can't hear, so he'll come up under center. Flush and drop. The old veteran Hugh Green.
Well, at 32 years old, Hugh Green can still come after the passer. Mikowski, this is a coverage sack because he had plenty of time to throw, but nobody to get open for him. Chased out of the pocket, and there's Green. And again, he swipes with his right hand. Mikowski does a nice job of hanging on to that one.
They're going to put some pressure on McJulian, the Green Bay punter, it appears, as he's going to have to kick near his own goal line. Here they come. He got rid of it. Scott Miller can take it on the fly at the 47. And down he goes right there. Nice job by Vinnie Clark on the special teams.
That was a heck of a tackle because Miller had a lot of room on the left side. First round draft pick Vinnie Clark laying out, making a great play.
He adds this gem to his interception.
Well, and Miller, size 10 shoe, and it took every inch of that foot for Clark to bring him down, but that's a heck of a play.
The Dolphins with excellent field position at their own 47. They've been kept out of the end zone to this point today. Marino off play action. Deep for Duper.
He's got it.
To the 13.
Ah, and a beautiful smile from Mark Duper. He beat Leroy Clark on the outside here. The play action doesn't really fool anybody, but Duper runs a great route. And if this ball is not underthrown, he might have made it all the way to the end zone. But on that type of ball, when you have a receiver so wide open, oftentimes a quarterback will take something off to guarantee the game and forget about the touchdown.
And Marino trying to get his troops lined up. James Pruitt just re-signed this week. I don't think was in the right spot, and it's going to cost the Dolphins another timeout.
Well, and if you look towards the end of the ball game, the Dolphins will be working with just one timeout. Those timeouts are very valuable, especially in a tie ball game.
Don't forget, coming up next on CBS Sports, we go to Candlestick Park. The Rams and the 49ers will have at it. Both teams unaccustomed to being 1-2 at this point in the season, and with the Saints beating the Vikings so far today, they can't let the Saints get too far out in front in the NFC West. So we'll see what happens at Candlestick between the Rams and the 49ers next, as the second game of our doubleheader on CBS Sports. This is a guy that knows how to get it done in the fourth quarter, as he did brilliantly last year in the playoff win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Only once before in his career has he gone 2 games in a row without throwing a touchdown pass. He didn't throw one against Detroit last week. Hasn't thrown one here today.
And it'll be interesting to see what Shula has decided to do here. Does he want to take time off the clock and just pound the ball, try to get in the end zone on the ground, or is he going to let Dan just wing it, so to speak?
Higgs and Page behind Marino. First down at the Green Bay 13. He'll throw it if he can to Page. Johnny Hollins not letting him get away. No gain on that one. Well, Tony Page has been on the receiving end of Marino's passes 5 times today.
Well, let's check out Mark Murphy here, because he's come up limping after this play. Good picture of the secondary, but Murphy is out in coverage. Now he's going to double team, and he appears to have pulled a muscle or twisted his ankle.
He's headed to the sideline too. There he is.
You talk about a tough guy. Got the high tops on and the whole bit.
So his spot will be taken by young Tim Houck. Second down 11 for the Dolphins at the Green Bay 14. Marino rolls, and in and out of the hands of his tight end Charles Hendrick. He's going to quit throwing it to 87 pretty soon.
Well, you got to wonder why he was cut in the first place, don't you? Well, maybe not so. He's dropped 3 today. Didn't really start off his afternoon very well, as Marino drilled him with the first pass on the first offensive play for the Dolphins. He's going to get an earful over here.
The reason he started the game, remembers, because Farrell Edmonds went on injured reserve this week after being hurt in the Lion loss last week.
He comes right off the developmental squad right into the starting lineup ahead of Greg Beatty.
This is a 4 wide receiver group for Marino on 3rd and 11. Trying to change a 13 all time. Duper, not quite. Leroy Butler had pretty good coverage, but that one too far in front of Mark Duper.
Well, Marino's a little frustrated because watch Duper at the bottom here. He's going to run a little stop and go, and he's going to get behind Butler in the corner of the end zone. Fakes to the inside, now pushes off, gets open, and the ball's a yard too far.
So enter Pete Stoyanovich, who hit field goals back-to-back in the first quarter to give Miami a 6-0 lead. And he'll come out and try one from 31 yards out to break the 13 all deadlock. 2 for 2 on the day. Make it 3 for 3 for Pete Stoyanovich. 8:21 to go in the ball game. The Dolphins back in front by 3. Packers did all their damage in the second quarter, and the Dolphins have spread it to the 1st and 4th and lead by 3. 16-13 with 8:21 left in the ball game. You see Pete Stoyanovich tee it up. He's got that foot crammed in a size 6 shoe there.
Yeah, that's no Big Bopper there, no Big Bertha.
Says he likes to have it feel like it's molded to his foot. His kick will go to Vai Sikahema at the 5. Sikahema to the 21. Jarvis Williams made the tackle. Let's get an update on the Vikings and the Saints from the Superdome.
All right, Brad, down in New Orleans in the 4th quarter, Craig Ironhead Hayward from 8 yards out for his 2nd touchdown of the day. The Saints up 23-0, well on their way to a 4-0 mark. That'll put pressure on the loser of the Rams-Niners game later today, Brad.
All right, Greg, thanks. And boy, the Saints well on their way to breaking that jinx against the Vikings. Vikings have always had their number.
Well, and shutting the Vikings out with their new offense, it's been so successful for them.
Green Bay trying to win their 2nd game. Same with Miami. Mikowski. Almost intercepted. David Griggs had a hand on it.
Now we've seen Sharp be real patient in some of his pass routes. Here he is, the inside receiver, and he's just going to go down, and this is what they call their hide route, where they just try to lull the defense to sleep, but Griggs is all over that one. The key now for the Packers is to give Mikowski time to throw, and for guys like Sharp and Wilson and Kemp to make plays.
And the Magic Man only 3 out of 10 throwing this half. On 2nd and 10. Alan Rice, the closest guy. I don't know where that one was going.
Well, it was going to Rice, but so was Reichenbach. He had a bead on Rice. Mikowski saw it at the last time, and that's one of those yo-yo jobs. You try to tie it to your finger and pull it back. But that play there, he just saved an interception there because Reichenbach was closing fast.
And the way the Dolphin defense has played this half, this is a spot you don't want to be in as Don Mikowski. It's 3rd and 10. This is where the fans have really come to life for the Miami defense today. Mikowski throws long for Kemp. And he's got it. All the way to the 40-yard line. Just took it away from Michael Magruder.
Well, I grew up watching the San Francisco 49ers, Y.A. Tittle throwing the alley-oop to R.C. Owens, and this is what it's all about. You got your receiver one-on-one with a defensive back, and the quarterback puts it up nice and soft, and the receiver is just told to out-jump the guy, and that's a great play by the Packer wide receiver Perry Kemp. Shows you a lot of confidence that Mikowski has in Kemp to come up with a big play.
And that was on 3rd and 10. So now it's 1st down, Green Bay at the Miami 40. They trail 16-13 with just over 7 minutes to play. A little draw play to Alan Rice, who got leveled at the line of scrimmage. Alfred Oglesby made the stop.
Boy, conditioning is really going to come into play now. Which team is in better condition? Because you see a lot of guys with their hands on their hips on both sides of the ball. Unfortunately, everybody always says, well, the Dolphins, they've got to be used to it. But remember, half the guys you're seeing out here today had the flu this week.
We spent all day at the Dolphin practice about as far away from everybody we wanted to talk to as possible. 2nd and 10. Mikowski deep. Ed West almost had another big play. Just couldn't quite haul it in.
Well, he couldn't get out of the quicksand there at the end of that thing. That was a heck of a throw by Mikowski, but watch Ed's legs start to give out on him a little bit here, and he can't gather to make the dive.
They'll never mistake Ed for Carl Lewis anyway. Tried his best.
Yeah, he really did. And remember the touchdown that he scored for the Packers in the 2nd quarter when he dove into the end zone. Maybe that was his only dive of the day.
Get a breather, Ed. It's 3rd and 10, Green Bay. Mikowski overshot Workman with Langford covering. Looked like Hugh Green, who got a little heat on the Magic Man again that time.
I remember in the second quarter he hit 11 in a row, but defenses make adjustments, and the pressure has been constant on Mikowski here in the second half.
Paul McJulian into punt now for Green Bay. He'd like to bury his old teammates down inside the 10 somewhere. He was here for most of the offseason, the mini camp, the training camp, and then 2 weeks of the preseason before he was cut. McJulian hits it high in the air, a wobbly punt, fair catch taken at the 9-yard line by Jarvis Williams. CBS Sports coverage on Saturday in Major League Baseball features the two teams dueling it out for first place in the National League West. You can see the Giants battle the Dodgers, or the Braves traveling to Houston to meet the Astros. You can check your local listings for the game in your area. The day gets underway with Baseball 91, 2 o'clock Eastern, updating all the news around the major leagues. And it is tightening up in Major League Baseball, that's for sure. As you take a look at the pennant races, there's the American League East now. The Red Sox making their patented run at the top. And right now they trail the Yankees in the 7th. Milwaukee and Detroit 5-2 for the Brewers. Here it's 16-13 Miami. And they go to the ground game, and Mark Higgs with a first down run. Mark Murphy got him at the end of the run, but he got 10.
Well, we got a fight going here between Keith Sims and I believe it's Bryce Pop. They may both get tossed from this one. Well behind the play. Neither of them were going to back down. Actually, it's Sean Patterson, number 96. Referees didn't see it until they were well into it, too.
Offsetting personal foul penalties.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Only because it doesn't penalize either team or either player. The game is hard enough without having to fight. We saw in that first game the Packers and the Eagles when
First down.
When Keith Jackson and Matt Brock got into it, they were both tossed out of the game, and they didn't have half the action these two guys did.
So Sims and Patterson get their rounds in, and when all the smoke clears, it's first down at the 20-yard line for the Dolphins. Good look at Sean Patterson, who'll be bringing it again. First down Miami, they lead by a field goal. Higgs again, dropped, and who do you think got him? Sean Patterson.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I like that call. Here you got a guy that's fired up. He just got in a fight. You know, he's got the adrenaline flowing. Watch him working against Richmond Webb here. Comes off the ball quickly, gets a shot on Sims, and it makes the play in the backfield.
A nice play and a loss of 2.
I might run away from a guy that's all fired up like that.
Second down, almost 13 to go. With 5 minutes to play, the Dolphins with a 16-13 lead. Bryce Pop, you see, bouncing around thinking about a blitz on Marino, and here he comes. Marino got it to Higgs at the 20. He got leveled by Chuck Cecil. So it'll be third down and 9. Brian Noble trying to call a timeout for Green Bay, and gets it with 4:38 to go in the ball game. I think Noble maybe thinks his teammates just needed a little breather.
Well, this was a good timeout because it gives the Packers a chance to get that breather for their pass rush. The reason Pop has been so successful this year in getting to the quarterback is many times he'll come into the game and he'll be fresh. And he'll have one responsibility. That's to lower his shoulder and come around that corner after the quarterback. He's been playing a lot more this week in normal situations, but I think everybody could use a breather.
There has been talk, and I'm sure a lot of you know, that maybe Tim Harris, the holdout outside linebacker of the Packers, would come to Miami in a trade for one of Miami's #1 picks, and both the Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers denied those reports to us. There was a report earlier in the week in a newspaper in Milwaukee that the deal would be done as soon as this game was over, not wanting to give Tim Harris an opportunity to play against his old teammates or give Miami the opportunity to have him for any kind of a spy work during the course of the week. But right now, Bryce Pop has played so well. He's got as many sacks in 4 games as Tim Harris had all of last year, so that can't help his bargaining power too much, I wouldn't think, Dan.
Well, and the other thing is you're never going to trade somebody just the day before or the week before a game. It's one of those unnamed sources that has bothered Lindy and Fonnie so much. He said he wants to come back in his next life as an unknown named source.
3rd down and 10 to go for the Dolphins. Marino fires it, got a man, 1st down, flags down as Martin's on his way to the 26-yard line. That looked like a pick play almost.
I think you called it exactly right. This is coming all the way back because the Dolphins inside receivers came over. They blocked the defensive back that was covering Martin, allowed him to come open in the middle, and this one, surprising that a man that's on the competition committee like Don Shula would resort
pass interference
to such tactics.
Number 85, 10 yards, 3rd down.
And instead of a 54-yard pickup, they end up with a pass interference call.
Well, here's Martin on the outside. Watch, here's Duper, and here's the inside receiver, Jensen. They're going to both come out and form what you call a pick. Actually, it's James Pruitt that gets the first block, and they're blocking before the ball is even in the air, and that's an illegal play. And this will set up the Dolphins with 3rd and about 20. And there aren't a whole lot of plays in the playbook that'll get you 20.
6th penalty against the Dolphins for 52 yards in losses. Backed up to their own 11-yard line.
That's a very common type of play, though. You don't see it be successful with such a long distance to go, though.
Marino will have 5 men out in the pattern here. Pressure coming. He got rid of it. Got it to James Pruitt. And it's a 1st down.
You notice that here's the line of scrimmage right here at about the 10-yard line. All these other guys are back here, and they're playing what you call a very loose zone. But at one point here, they're going to have to stop and settle. They just keep drifting back and drifting back. There's Pruitt in the middle, and you talk about a big play. Pickup of about 23 yards, 1st down for the Packers. Marino, of course, has got to pick up the check there.
Needed 20, got 24. There's the timeouts remaining with 4:07 to play. And the Dolphins trying to hang on to a 3-point lead.
Well, if Shula's going to win his 300th today, everybody's going to look back on 3rd and 20 and say, hey, that was the play that won the game.
Marino now 19 out of 32 for 212 yards, and his biggest pass, as Dan just said, was right there on 3rd and 20.
Well, that's what Marino gives you, and that's what is so frustrating for fans and for folks like me, is to come down here and sit in this humidity and everything and watch Marino hand off. Heck, let's see him fire one across the middle as he did that time.
Got it out to the 35-yard line and to a guy who wasn't even in a Dolphin uniform this time last week, James Pruitt. Pruitt had been a Dolphin last year, went Plan B to the Minnesota Vikings, was cut in Minnesota, lives in this area. They call him up, say, hey, James, Freddie Banks is hurt. Can you play for us? Well, you can tell by the smile he's happy he's here now.
Well, and he's a guy that's had a bad rap about his hands. Hasn't always caught everyone, but he caught that one.
1st and 10, Miami. Mark Higgs broke one tackle, and he got 5 yards out of it. Brian Noble finally brought him down.
That'll be the Packers' final timeout. No choice but to stop the clock here and hope to stop the Dolphins in the next 2 plays, bring up a punt.
Chuck Cecil, you can see the needle's about on empty there. that's how it feels with just under 4 minutes to go in the heat of Joe Robbie Stadium.
Well, what they ought to be doing as players is taking their helmets off and getting some air, and just have the trainers douse them with water to cool them off some way.
That's what you saw Noble just do with that glass full of water. Boom, right in the face.
Yeah, you talk about the needle being on empty. Well, the other needle is running in the red.
3 minutes and 57 seconds to go. Don Shula would move into some pretty serious territory to pick up his 300th win if the Dolphins can hold on for him. He is not concerned about that plateau of number 300 at all. He says, I'm worried about getting this team straightened out.
But he would like to get it over with,
right,
because of the attention that it's drawing to him instead of the attention that should be drawn to his ball club. But this is a heck of a group right here. Don Shula should be at the top of that list in a couple of years.
Mark Higgs running hard on the left side, but the guy that called the timeout and threw the water in his own face just made another tackle. Brian Noble, pickup of 2 for Higgs, and the clock will run now because the Packers are out of timeouts.
You talk about winning 300 games. Lindy Infante was quoted as saying earlier in the week that it's hard for him to comprehend the resiliency needed to be a head coach in this league for all that time. The ups and downs, the different decades, the different eras, the different styles of football that Shula has experienced.
He said it's kind of like the universe. You know it's there, you just can't comprehend it. The give to Higgs, and he won't get it. 3rd down and short. As always, it seems, been short for the Dolphins today, and they're going to have to give it back to Green Bay.
Well, let's take a look at the penetration here. One last gasp effort for the Packer defense, and they come through. There's Tualo. I knew I'd have to say that name once today. Sarah, E.T.
Reggie Roby, who's been extraterrestrial with his punts today. Let's see what he does. He's been blasting them all over the field. 5 of his 6 kicks have been 50-plus.
Yeah, but I think he ought to kick this one high and keep Sikahema from the big return.
Rye Sikahema has done a nice job on the returns today. This one's high, deep, it's everything. It's going to stay out of the end zone. A punting clinic by Reggie Roby. 52 yards and out at the 5.
Now pack your bags, Reggie. You're headed for Hawaii just based upon this game alone. Is probably one of his better games in his brilliant 9-year career.
Against the Lions, he averaged over 52 on 4 kicks. Brian Noble's just down for the count. He's given everything he can. And here comes the Miami defense. Mikowski to Workman. Only about 2 yards. Michael Magruder made the tackle. And that's going to work into the 2-minute warning. The Packers a long ways away, but they only need 3 points to try to send this one to overtime. 16-13 Miami. Dan Fouts, I'm Brad Nessler at Joe Robbie Stadium, Miami, where the Dolphins lead by 3 with 2 minutes to go. And Green Bay and Lindy Infante's club a long ways away, but they only need 3 points, Dan.
Well, and 3 points is about 60 yards away for Jackie to get him within range.
Second and 7. Incomplete, intended for Charles Wilson. Remember, Green Bay out of timeouts. That will stop the clock, of course, with the incompletion. Chris Green was covering that time.
Well, what the Dolphins are going to do now is they're just going to send 3 guys after the quarterback, drop 8. They have in the ball game right now 8 defensive backs. so they know that they've got their very best people, athletically speaking, to cover these wide receivers of the Packers.
You got to look at Tom Olivadotti, the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins, hoping his troops can do the job. 3rd and 7. Quarterback draw. Mikowski, first down. And the ball loose, and Miami's got it.
That's going to be a question as to whether he was down first. I'm sure they'll have to review this. What a backbreaker, though.
Lindy Infante is saying, hey, he was down. Vesty Jackson, meanwhile, has the football in hand. Here's another look.
Well, the guys on the field are saying it's Dolphin ball. We'll have to see what the guy upstairs says, though. A good call on the quarterback draw, but is he down? I have to believe he had his right cheek down. Now, if that counts as a knee or not. It looked like Mikowski was down and the ball came loose. But we talked about those 8 defensive backs in the secondary. Nice job by Moran leading the way. He's down there.
I think he's down.
I believe so, but that's a tough angle. They're going to take every bit of the 2 minutes allotted to make this decision upstairs.
And if indeed Green Bay can retain possession, Don Mikowski will never be so happy to be on his rear end in his life as this play if they don't give this ball to Miami.
Well, remember, it'll be a first down for Green Bay if it is reversed. And I have to believe by that angle that he was down and the ball came loose.
I think so, too.
Uno más tiempo. Yeah, one cheek down. That counts as a knee.
One cheek now equals one knee.
It used to equal 2 feet, right? That'd be a good title for a book.
The guys in there will straighten it all out for us. Mikowski needed 7 yards and got 13 before he ended up on his backside.
Well, the Packer offense is out on the field. That's a good sign. They're not giving up. Oh, this guy's got 2 helmets. He's ready.
Don Shula, the shades and the cap have come off. Remember, he's had the flu, too. He told us yesterday Friday night was a little rough, boys.
Sunday afternoon has been no picnic for him.
Don't forget, coming up next, second game of our doubleheader, the Rams and the 49ers will have at it at Candlestick.
I believe they're just about right at the 2-minute limit for the referees to make this decision. Tough thing is there's no clear-cut picture, and if that's the case, they'll let the play call as it was let the play stand as it was called on the field.
I think the end zone view, though.
The play stands.
Oh, they're going to leave it alone.
Inconclusive. That's got to be the ruling because of the replay didn't show clearly when the ball came loose.
And the Packers out of timeouts. And 28 years after his first win as a head coach, that man is about to hit 300.
And normally you would expect the Dolphins to carry him off the field, but in this draining heat and humidity, I'm not sure there's any of them are strong enough.
Dan Marino goes down. You see the clock winding down. Today's game was produced by Mark Wolf, directed by Larry Cavallina. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. Senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer is Ted Shaker. Lindy Infante's Green Bay Packers came out of 40-degree weather down to the almost 100-degree weather on the field today of Joe Robbie Stadium and gave the Dolphins all they wanted. But Mikowski dropped one in the end zone. Chuck Klingbeil gathered it in for a Miami touchdown. And now the Dolphins just a minute away from their second win of the season.
Packers had a real ugly win last week against Tampa Bay. Well, this is an ugly loss for Green Bay and an ugly win for Shula, but he'll take it.
He has coached against 116 coaches. He's virtually beaten them all. And he's about ready to win another one over Green Bay. The Dolphins have never lost to the Packers, and they won't here this afternoon either. Has wins over 107 different head coaches. Now he can smile, flu and all. Although he says 300 doesn't mean much at this point, you know that one more game ball is going to go in his office. As Dan Marino goes down to one knee, that's it.
Well, I bet that felt good, huh? A little ice water on the old guy. Congratulations to Coach Shula. 300 big ones.
28th year anniversary of win number 1. It's win number 300 for Don Shula. The play that turned this game around in the favor of the Miami Dolphins was a rather strange one.
Well, it was a crazy play, and it's been that way for the Packers all year. Mikowski facing a 3-man rush, trying to find a receiver, nervously pats the ball and knocks it out of his own hand. Then the bounce of the ball on the ground bounces towards Klingbeil. Touchdown for the Dolphins.
Klingbeil will get a game ball, and so will Don Shula. For Dan Fouts, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Joe Robbie Stadium. The final score, the Dolphins 16, the Packers 13.
Shula. Miami Dolphins last week denied win number 300 as the Dolphins went up against the Detroit Lions. Today at home at Joe Robbie Stadium, they were playing the Packers. Was today the day for Shoes to join George Halas as the only 2 members of the 300 win club? We'll find out when we go to Joe Robbie Stadium to find out what happened between the Dolphins, who gave up lots of yards the first week to Thurman Thomas, 165. Eric Dickerson gave up 60 yards afterwards. And that was correct. Keep going. Barry Sanders was week number 3, was the team that they played. And that's the problem is, who would run for the Green Bay Packers in this game? Well, Don Mikowski, he was the leading rusher with 33 yards. So Magic tried to do it in the air, but no such luck. Here's number 91, Jeff Cross. And Magic had a tough game. 3 of 6 in the first quarter for 57 yards. The Packers trying to do the Lindy for Coach Infante. Mikowski to Sterling Sharp in the second quarter. He breaks a tackle, and Sterling runs for 32 yards. Then an underrated player by the name of Ed West goes west, young man. He's always in the end zone. Mikowski completed 11 in a row. In the second quarter, the Packers led it 13-6 at the half. In the second half, Dan Marino anxious to get some Dolphins offense going. But Mark Murphy with the tip, Chuck Cecil with what looks like a pick. But is it, Tommy?
Well, when you look at it in slow motion here, you see the ball is tipped by Murphy. Cecil extends to make the catch, has it for just a second, but as he rolls over, you see the ball pop out and hit the ground.
Ooh, you should be a replay official. More problems for Marino. Number 95, has he been immense or what? Bryce Pop. And then Bryce pops Marino right here. Second sack of the day. He leads the NFL with 7.5. Remember, he also put Randall out the first week of the season. Packers lead at 13-6, but Reggie Roby's 54-yard punt pins the Pack on their own 1-yard line. Now look at this. Mikowski back to pass, and he drops the ball. Chuck Klingbeil falls on it. Got advice for this play, Tom?
Well, in the post game, Mikowski said his hands were sweaty and the ball slipped out. Get a towel.
This ties the game at 13. An unbelievable break for the Dolphins. Now, you've seen this before. Marino to Mark Super Duper. 30-yard hookup sets up a Stoyanovich 31-yard field goal. Coach Don Shula can smell number 300. He's up by a field goal. The Packers trying to drive. The Magic Man, look what happens again. Hit that baby. And Miami falls on the football. And there it is. Douse him. Don Shula will take it 28 years to the day after he got win number 1 in the NFL as coach of the Baltimore Colts in 1963. Shula wins number 300 as the Dolphins beat the Green Bay Packers 16-13. Our congratulations to Coach Don Shula of the Miami Dolphins as he wins number 300. Afterwards, he was a happy man.
The team was great about it afterwards. I got a game ball and another plaque from the players. And the 300 wins, and thinking back through the years and the players that I've had the opportunity to coach and some of the great wins and the thrills and everything that goes along with it. Those are, when you think about numbers, and then you can't help but think about that.
Think about this. Papa Bear